कॉल करो 403-400-0203 www.iwebguide.ca.
Calgary's oldest, biggest and only South Asian radio station, Sabrang Radio 94.7 FM.
Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, 7 to 8 is 1 to 5 p.m.
Visit sabrang.ca.
मैं ਇਹਨੂੰ ਇਹ ਥੋੜਾ ਹਿਲ ਗਿਆ ਇੱਕ ਮਿੰਟ ਆ ਕੇ ਦੇਖੋ ਇੱਕ ਮਿੰਟ ਆ ਕੇ ਦੇਖੋ ਹਿਲ ਗਿਆ ਥੋੜਾ
सुन रहे हो
Hello, namaste, sat shri akal, adab. You're listening to Calgary's most popular radio. Radio Sabrang. 94.7 FM.
मैं कर देना सेट कर लोगे मैं कर लूँगा फिर बैठो
इस हॉलीडे सीजन च रेडिसन होटल एंड कॉन्फ्रेंस सेंटर कैलगरी एयरपोर्ट ते खुशियां दी शुरुआत हो रही है अपनी क्रिसमस पार्टी बुक करो ते पाओ हॉल रेंटल ते 50% छूट
Complimentary festive setup.
रूम्स बुकिंग ते 15% छूट
ਅਤੇ ਹਰ ਗੈਸਟ ਲਈ ਇੱਕ ਗਲਾਸ ਸ਼ੈਂਪੇਨ ਫ੍ਰੀ।
हर वीकेंड साडे बॉलीवुड नाइट इंडो चाइनीज बुफे दा मजा लवो सिर्फ $27.99 ਵਿੱਚ
ਇਸ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਹੈ ਬਿਰਿਆਨੀ ਅਤੇ ਲਾਈਵ ਡੋਸਾ ਸਟੇਸ਼ਨ। ਆਪਣੀ ਪਰਿਵਾਰਿਕ ਛੁੱਟੀਆਂ ਬਣਾਓ ਹੋਰ ਖਾਸ ਡਬਲ ਕੁਈਨ ਰੂਮ ਬ੍ਰੇਕਫਾਸਟ ਸਮੇਤ ਸਿਰਫ $129 ਵਿੱਚ।
ਇਸ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਬੁਫੇ ਤੇ 15% ਛੂਟ ਸਪਾ ਟ੍ਰੀਟਮੈਂਟ ਤੇ 10% ਛੂਟ ਸੈਲੀਬ੍ਰੇਟ ਸਟੇ ਐਂਡ ਡਾਈਨ ਆਲ ਅੰਡਰ ਵਨ ਫੈਸਟੀਵਲ ਰੂਫ।
ਅੱਜ ਹੀ ਕਾਲ ਕਰੋ 403-475-1111 ਤੇ
ਅਤੇ ਰੈਡੀਸਨ ਕੈਲਗਰੀ 에ਅਰਪੋਰਟ ਤੇ ਆਪਣੀ ਹੌਲੀਡੇ ਮੈਜਿਕ ਬੁੱਕ ਕਰੋ। ਰੈਡੀਸਨ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਖੁਸ਼ੀਆਂ ਰੋਸ਼ਨੀ ਬਣ ਕੇ ਖਿੜਦੀਆਂ ਹਨ।
ਬਿਲਕੁਲ ਜੀ ਰੈਡੀਸਨ 'ਚ ਖੁਸ਼ੀਆਂ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਨੇ ਰੋਸ਼ਨੀ ਬਣ ਕੇ ਖਿੜਦੀਆਂ ਤੇ ਨਾਲ ਦੀ ਨਾਲ ਹੀ ਸਾਡੇ ਸਟੂਡੀਓ ਵੀ ਅੱਜ ਖਿੜ ਗਿਆ ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਸਟੂਡੀਓ ਦੇ ਅੰਦਰ ਵੀ ਹੈਵ ਅ ਸਪੈਸ਼ਲ ਗੈਸਟ ਹੈਦਰ ਮੈਕਫਰਸਨ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਕਿ ਸਾਡੇ ਅਲਬਰਟਾ ਦੇ ਓਨਲੀ ਐਮਪੀ ਨੇ ਐਨਡੀਪੀ ਪਾਰਟੀ ਦੇ ਤੇ ਵੀ ਫੀਲ ਸੋ ਪ੍ਰਾਊਡ ਐਜ਼ ਏ ਐਨਡੀਪੀਐਨ ਬਿਕੋਜ਼ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਵੀ ਮੈਂ ਵੀ ਐਨਡੀਪੀ ਪਾਰਟੀ ਦਾ ਮੈਂਬਰ ਹਾਂ ਤੇ ਇਸ ਕਰਕੇ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਕਮਾਨ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਸਾਡੀ ਸੰਭਾਲੀ ਹੈ ਅਲਬਰਟਾ ਦੀ। ਸੋ Heather, welcome to Sabrang Radio.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me. It's so great to be here.
Yeah, likewise, it's wonderful to have you here. And last time we interviewed over the phone, and this time it's great to have you in person here. And ਸਾਰੇ ਦੋਸਤਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਮੈਂ ਦੱਸਦਾ ਜੀ ਇਹ ਹੈਦਰ ਮੈਕਫਰਸਨ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਨੇ ਸਾਡੇ ਐਨਡੀਪੀ ਪਾਰਟੀ ਦੇ ਐਮਪੀ ਨੇ ਅਲਬਰਟਾ ਤੋਂ ਤੇ ਓਨਲੀ ਐਮਪੀ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਦੀ ਨਾਲ ਇੱਕ ਖਾਸ ਗੱਲ ਇਹ ਹੈ ਵੀ ਬੜੀ ਜਲਦੀ ਇਹ ਐਨਡੀਪੀ ਦੇ ਲੀਡਰ ਵੀ ਬਣ ਜਾ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਬੀੜਾ ਚੁੱਕਿਆ ਵੀ ਮੈਂ ਐਨਡੀਪੀ ਪਾਰਟੀ ਦੀ ਕਮਾਨ ਸੰਭਾਲੀ ਹੈ ਉਸ ਸਿਲਸਿਲੇ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਬੜੇ ਵਧੀਆ ਤਰੀਕੇ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਆਪਣੀ ਕੈਂਪੇਨ ਰਨ ਕੀਤੀ। ਸੋ ਫਾਰ ਕੈਂਪੇਨ ਕਾਫੀ ਵਧੀਆ ਚੱਲ ਰਹੀ ਹੈ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਕਿ ਅੱਜ ਕੈਲਗਰੀ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਪਹੁੰਚੇ ਨੇ। ਸੋ Heather, give us a little bit of brief introduction about yourself so that our listeners can know more about you.
Yeah, so my name is Heather McPherson. I'm the Member of Parliament for Edmonton Strathcona. I was elected in 2019, so I've been a Member of Parliament for 6 years. I grew up in Alberta. I grew up in Edmonton. I've been a long time supporter of the NDP and didn't really ever think that I was going to be a politician, but here we are.
Yeah, it always happened like this.
Yeah.
The NDP always welcome the people. Those are literally the ground, and they have a very good community. This thing. So, and that's you are the example of our this thing, and now you are finally at the very last phase of leadership. And so tell us about your leadership, like how it's going on.
Yeah, I mean it's been a long race and very, very exciting. It feels very much like we've got a lot of momentum on our side. We're in the final stretch to sell membership, so people have until January 28th to renew or to buy a new membership to the NDP. It's a little tricky for us because in Alberta that's a different process than in other provinces. Every year you have to redo that in Alberta. So for people that are listening, if they haven't done it by September 1st in 2025, they're not a member and they would have to renew their memberships. But it's been fun. I've been traveling across the country, speaking to people from coast to coast to coast. I've had some really interesting conversations about how important, how urgent it is that we rebuild our party, that it's a progressive party that can win more seats.
Yeah, definitely. It was great. I remember when Jake Layton was the president, leader of the party, and we got 103 seats. It was wonderful at that time, and I think we want the similar kind of leader like you have capabilities of doing that. And I believe in coming time, NDP will be shining like it used to be. So I remember like Rachel Notley, our NDP leader, ex-leader, she and Premier as well, she put it on social media, like she renewed her membership and asked everyone to renew the membership and vote for you, basically, because she's also a very good friend of yours and supporter as well. So tell us a little bit about who else is supporting you in Alberta. If you will like to give any names?
Yeah, honestly, we have had so much support. It's really been wonderful. We just had a great event with Charlie Angus, who, of course, was one of the members of Parliament in the previous Parliament, has also been doing an awful lot of work around the country, making sure that the Canadians are united. So he was wonderful. It was wonderful to have him support me. But we've had endorsements from Labour, from people that have been longtime members of the party, endorsements from people that are in different sectors. Of course, I was the foreign affairs critic for a very long time. So my work that I did in particular around Gaza and Palestine, I think a lot of people appreciated. And so it was an opportunity for people to show their appreciation by endorsing me. We've got a list longer than I can say on our website of people that have put their names behind me and my team.
Yeah, definitely. I think most of our Alberta MLAs, I believe I talked to them and they are supporting you.
Mm-hmm.
And same way, like you said about your human rights critic, you did wonderful job. Everyone was loving your speeches in the parliament when you raised the issue.
Thank you.
About
That's
that.
kind.
So a little bit about your work of human rights and if you'd like to share.
Sure. Yeah. I think what I did before I was in politics was I worked in human rights, I worked in sustainable development, I worked in international development and foreign affairs. And so when I took on this role as being a member of parliament, our previous leader, Jagmeet Singh, asked me if I would take on the foreign affairs file. And it's a big file. It was a big file, when he asked me to take it on 5 years ago. Now, of course, with all of the chaos being caused by Donald Trump, the war in Ukraine, the war in Sudan, and the continuing genocide in Palestine, it is a critical role. And I think for me, having that clarity of protecting all human rights, of recognizing that every single human being has the same unalienable rights is very important. And I don't like that this current government seems to be picking whose human rights matter and whose don't. I think international law is very clear. Human rights legislation is very clear. We should be ensuring that all people's rights are protected. A perfect example of this is this new board of peace that Donald Trump has brought forward. Yeah. There are no Palestinians on this gathering of people that are supposed to be determining the future of Palestine. That's colonialism. You need to ensure that Palestinians are at that table.
Yeah, and the way he took over the Venezuela president and all that activities that he's doing.
Yeah.
So it's
Greenland,
Greenland
threat to Greenland, which is in fact very serious because it is a NATO country attacking another NATO country, and that is very, very dangerous.
Yeah, and that's why I think some of the NATO countries, they are coming. They're bringing their small forces there. Already it's happening, and I think good. And the way he threatened Canada, that was very, it was everyone feel if Donald Trump is not sparing the Canada who was supporting him all the way, and now this is the situation, how he will be dealing the rest of the world.
Yeah, it's very dangerous. I mean, it's dangerous both inside Canada. I mean, we know across the country people are really struggling with the cost of living. Yes. But we also know that Donald Trump's threats to our economy are very, very dangerous. And so the federal government has a role to play in protecting people's jobs, making sure that people are able to, the industries that people are working are sustained. I think that's very important. And we also need to do some work to change the way that we do international trade. I think that we've got to diversify our trade relationships. We've got to be working with Europe and the Indo-Pacific region. It's important in a way that is Canadian. Where we protect human rights, where we develop trade relationships, and we do that work that needs to happen.
Yeah, so far we are seeing some developments are happening, but definitely I can see when NDP from last many years supported Liberals government. Basically, it was not Liberal only to the government of Canada, so that we can come up to this level. Otherwise, it was not possible. Maybe any time, I shouldn't say, but Conservatives can come and they can take away a lot of the facilities normal public was getting.
I'm proud of the work that we did in the last Parliament, the NDP, to get things for Canadians. We know that 6 million people have been able to see a dentist that weren't able to see one before. That said, I think what we're seeing with this current government is a swing to the right. There is a reason the Conservatives feel comfortable crossing the floor to join this party, because they're sort of the same. And what that means is there's a gap where nobody is fighting for working class Canadians. The housing emergency that we have in this country requires that the federal government step up. But yet, what Mark Carney promised Canadians in April is what he delivered in the budget in November was less than half of what he promised in April. During a moment in time where I think we all know of people who are in our communities that are living on the street. We all know young people who don't think they'll ever be able to afford a house. We all know people in our communities that are worried about whether they'll be able to pay their mortgage. There has to be some real solutions to that build more nonprofit and co-op homes, more affordable homes, more supportive housing. All of those things could be done. It just requires political will.
Yeah, definitely that's wonderful, because I know everywhere we go, food bank is biggest issue. People are going so much towards the food bank and they don't have homes. A lot of people are leaving Canada because it's not affordable for them. So all these things, and because you are running very good campaign, and if you would like to elaborate a little bit about your campaign platform, on basis of what you are running.
Well, and you just brought up a very good point, the cost of groceries. I mean, food is not something that's an optional thing. We all need to buy groceries. We all need to buy food for our families. And so there are things that we need to do right now to help people to alleviate some of the cost of groceries. Some of those things are taking the GSTF essentials, putting caps so that those essentials that we all need, there is a price cap on. Making sure that these grocery stores that are making record profits are paying a windfall tax, that they're paying an excess profit tax for how much that they are making. And those are things that can happen today. They can happen right now. Mark Carney and the Liberal government brought forward a voluntary code of conduct for grocery prices, but of course that didn't do anything. And then there's long-term things we need to do. We need to be working with co-op grocery stores. We need to be ensuring that there isn't a monopoly. I mean, one of the challenges we see in Canada is growing inequality. The people in the middle class are really struggling, but the wealthy and the ultra-wealthy are doing fine, and they're getting wealthier and wealthier. The other thing I'll just really quickly tell you about is our job program. Across the country, young people, especially in provinces like Alberta, are not able to find jobs, and the implications on our economy and on their future is very, very serious. So we came up with a great plan. I mean, I would love to see that we would have post-secondary education paid for. There are 24 countries in the world where post-secondary education is free. We should have free post-secondary in Canada. And we should expand it to not just universities. We know some people don't want to go to university. They want to do an apprenticeship. They want to get into the trades. They want to go to college. All of those should be supported. And then there should be a program. So we've got Canada Summer Jobs, for example. It's not a very well-run program, and it's not very well-resourced, and it's only for 2 or 3 months of the year. Make it a year-round program. It supports small businesses in our community. Small businesses would get the support to be able to bring on young people so that they could learn the ropes, they could get their work experience, and then have a mentorship program attached to that. This is something that you could do with just a fraction of the amount of money that Mark Carney is saying he wants to spend on defense. We need to increase our defense spending, absolutely. But you could take some of that money and really help young people in our communities get a head start.
Yeah, because I have a young man in my family. He's just completing his high school.
Yeah.
And a lot of my friends are saying, send him to USA or here and there out of the city. And I want to keep him close to us.
Yes,
so
of course.
We can have him here. And because we are living one of the best city of the world. And why we need to go outside to find a job and stay away from the home. So I think if we invest more into our young people, just like you mentioned, in post-secondary education, and especially in technical jobs like the state and other organizations are providing NAID.
Yeah.
So I think they are wonderful. I was learning like they are the top institutions of the Canada. Like they are providing such a wonderful opportunity, and we should invest more into those institutions.
Well, and it is one of these things. The investment in young people is good for young people, of course, but it is also good for our economy. It is also good for productivity in this country. It's an important step. I'm a mom, and my son's 18, my daughter is 20, so that I feel a little like this is exactly what we need in this country right now.
So they can stay here instead of going out, and then they can pay back as a taxpayer, good taxpayer, they can pay to the society and contribute to our economy. So I think that's a wonderful point. And so एक बार फिर तो पंजाबी च I will explain to my listeners कि आज साडे नाल हैदर मैकफरसन आए ने ਜਿਹੜੇ कि NDP ਪਾਰਟੀ ਦੇ ਲੀਡਰਸ਼ਿਪ ਦੇ ਕੈਂਡੀਡੇਟ ਨੇ ਤੇ ਬਹੁਤ ਵਧੀਆ ਤਰੀਕੇ ਨਾਲ ਕੈਂਪੇਨ ਰਨ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ ਤੇ ਅਲਬਰਟਾ ਦੇ ਓਨਲੀ MP ਨੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਇੱਥੋਂ ਸਾਡਾ ਝੰਡਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ NDP ਪਾਰਟੀ ਦਾ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਜਾ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ ਉਹਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਅਲਬਰਟਾ ਤੋਂ ਇਲਾਵਾ ਇਹ ਰੇਸ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਵੀ ਇਕੱਲੇ MP ਨੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਕਿ ਓਨਲੀ MP who is running as a leader. And rest of the leaders are from different backgrounds, but candidates. But the way she has done work for the human rights and various other portfolios whenever she got the opportunity to work. So बहुत बढ़िया तरीके ਨਾਲ ਨੇ ਕੰਮ ਕੀਤਾ ਤੇ ਅੱਜ ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਮੈਂ ਖੁਦ ਵੀ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਜਾਣਦੇ ਹੋ ਵੀ ਇਹ 'ਚ ਕੋਈ ਦੋ ਰਾਏ ਨਹੀਂ ਮੈਂ NDP ਪਾਰਟੀ ਦਾ ਮੈਂਬਰ ਵੀ ਹਾਂ ਤੇ ਪਿਛਲੀ ਵਾਰੀ ਇਲੈਕਸ਼ਨ ਵੀ ਲੜ ਚੁੱਕੇ ਹਾਂ 2 ਵਾਰੀ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਸੋ ਉਹ ਆਪਣੀ ਜਗ੍ਹਾ ਤੇ ਬਟ ਐਜ਼ ਅ ਮੀਡੀਆ ਪਰਸਨ ਮੈਂ ਇਹ ਕਹਿਣਾ ਚਾਹੁੰਦਾ ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਕੰਮ ਕਰਨ ਦਾ ਤਰੀਕਾ ਹੈ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਸਟਾਈਲ ਹੈ ਜਦੋਂ ਇਹ ਬੋਲਦੇ ਨੇ ਪਾਰਲੀਮੈਂਟ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਇਟਸ wonderful. Everyone listen like what she's saying because she's bringing her point that strongly and very good. That's why we have seen a lot of human rights development happen like with Palestine or Gaza. So I think we were talking about. So yeah. So yes, I think anything else you want to share with our listeners?
Just that it is a very important race. I'm very excited to be part of it, but I certainly hope people get engaged, they get involved. They have till January 28th again to be able to make sure they get their membership. If they renew or get their membership by the 28th of January, they will be able to vote in the leadership race. I think it's very important that we have a leader from Alberta. I think it's very important. This is going to be the first time the federal NDP would be led by an Albertan. It's a good opportunity to make sure that the interests of Alberta are taken care of. It's a good opportunity to push back against some of the separatism that we hear from Danielle Smith, some of the attacks on our healthcare that we see from Danielle Smith, the attacks on workers' rights. So it gives us a little bit more voice in Ottawa, and I think that can only be a good thing.
Yeah, you raise a very good point. Like this separatist movement, basically, you covered that membership point. Just we talked about, and then this separatist movement is really very dangerous and threat to our democracy as well as to Albertans because the way they are going up. So how you are visualizing it?
Yeah, I mean, for me, one of the things that makes me most upset is that Danielle Smith is making it harder for us to attract investment in this province. Investment does not like chaos. So companies are not interested in investing in a province where the Premier in the past, Danielle Smith in the past has pulled out all investment on renewable energy.
Yes.
Where she's now actively supporting a separatist agenda, which would be horrendous for the Alberta economy. That would be horrendous for people's jobs, for people who are trying to be able to support their families. It is such a dangerous idea, and frankly, I'm quite worried that we are seeing foreign interference coming in from the United States. Danielle Smith is flirting with the MAGA folks, the Trump MAGA folks, and that is dangerous. That is not what any of us should be doing. I couldn't be a more proud Albertan. I love this place. It's the most beautiful place in the world to live, but I am also a deeply, deeply proud Canadian. And I will fight tooth and nail to make sure that Alberta remains a part of Canada. And I think being the leader gives me that voice and that ability to do that.
Definitely, that's wonderful. And because the way she's doing the things, silently she's saying, I am not supporting, but ultimately all his members and the group, those are running her show, basically, they are supporting this movement.
Well,
So, which is, people can see easily all the board members, directors from the areas, they are involved in the this movement. So, it means directly, indirectly, she's there.
And I will say too, I mean, Danielle Smith has lied to Albertans before.
Yes.
You know, she said she would not attack our healthcare. She has attacked our healthcare with recent legislation. She said that she would not touch the CPP, the Canadian Pension Plan. She is actively trying to undermine the Canadian Pension Plan. She has said she would not look at a Alberta police force. She's doing that. You know, we can't trust her to follow through on her word.
And she has done a biggest blunder, historic blunder, when she moved with all the MLA to Conservative Party. Maybe you remember when she was Wildrose leader, and she did that. And now you never know what she's going to do next.
I don't trust her very much. Of course.
Definitely, she's from Calgary, but I know she's not that trustworthy. Whatever she's saying. One day she's saying maybe elections will not happen. It will be happening in 2027. But her ex-colleagues, MLA Gunti and other people, they are saying she will do elections this year because the way her popularity is going down and all the activity.
Yeah.
So, I think we Alberta need to have a strong leader for federal NDP, where we will be forming a government in Alberta, so that we can have a good relationship with both parties. That's
an excellent point, and that's one of my other priorities. You know, the federal NDP needs to work with the provincial NDP in Alberta, but across the country, because we see some real success. You know, Walk Canoe and the Manitoba NDP are very, very popular. They're doing some very good things to protect healthcare.
He's maintaining his number one leadership all over Canada.
Yeah.
And
I have no doubt the Alberta NDP is going to be successful in the next election. It's so important that Hednenchi and the Alberta NDP win, because we can't risk continued attacks on our healthcare system, you know, on our education system, you know, taking away people's human rights and their working people's rights. That's what we're risking with Danielle Smith, and it's not what I think most Albertans want. So let's elect the NDP, the Alberta NDP.
Yes. Definitely, I think Hednenchi and his full team is working very hard. So we will have a good government in maybe this year or next year for sure. But and you as a leader of the federal NDP, so that we have a strong voice in the parliament and in Canada and in Alberta, so that we can see, because the way you have done so much work for us, we are very much hopeful from you. And good luck for your campaign.
Thank you so much.
And if any website or any information you want to share at the last.
Yeah, we've got a great website. It's heathermcpherson.ca. So it's HeatherMcPherson.ca. You can go there to buy a membership. You can go there to see the policies and the platform that we have. We've got a great housing platform. We've got a great jobs platform. All sorts of stuff there. If you're interested in donating or volunteering for the campaign, you can also visit the same website, and all the information is there for you.
And she is seeking a lot of volunteers from Alberta, Calgary. And if you want to volunteer, I think definitely you can do volunteer and donate at the website as well.
Of course.
So that campaigns need a lot of money all the time. We know that. So we need a lot of money. So thank you very much, Heather.
Thank you so much for having me.
Coming and giving your valuable time. And I used to watch you on TV, and when you were speaking at Parliament, it was so proud moment for us. As an NDP and MP, you are raising the issues. And now when I'm talking to you in person, over the camera, and in future I will be seeing you as a leader and doing strong things for us. So that will be wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you. And एक ये ਸੀਗੇ ਜੀ ਹੈਦਰ ਮੈਕਫਰਸਨ, ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਆਪਾਂ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ